What is the new anti-Semitism, and how pervasive is it?
So I would say, in a nutshell, the new anti-Semitism is an amalgamation of the different forms or strands of anti-Semitism historically. There's an element that is religious-based, that comes from the past. There's also anti-Semitism in some places that is still sort of biologically determined, a racist type of anti-Semitism. And I think that the new anti-Semitism really has as its focus the demonization and the delegitimization of Israel. And there's a correlation between the two. I did an article with a colleague, Edward Kaplan, and we interviewed 5,000 Europeans in 10 countries, and there's a very powerful correlation between classical anti-Semitism, i.e. how Jews do in business and whether they integrate or stick to themselves, questions along those lines, the old classical anti-Semitism. And then we did a criteria that we called Israel bashing, extreme views of Israel. Israel's an apartheid state and the like. And we found that people who have very strong views on Israel, that we called Israel bashers in our study, in our criteria, if they answered 5 questions out of 7, we would be considered Israel bashers. Of that population, they're 56% more likely, or 13 times more likely than the average population, to be anti-Semitic in the classical sense as well. So there's a strong correlation between the two, though differences. People who criticize Israel are not necessarily anti-Semitic, but there is a correlation that's off the charts, if you will.